Hey everyone, welcome back to the Cunning Card Mage channel. Today we're going to be talking about one of my favorite commanders that I have played of Bello, Scion of the Bard of the Brambles. Before we get into it, as always, if y'all have any decks you'd like to recommend, any cards you'd like for me to toss into the deck as well, feel free to leave a comment down below. And with that all said and done, let's get into it. So, getting right into it, we're going to briefly talk about Bello. He was the commander for one of the Bloomburrow Commander decks precons that came out in 2024 along the release with the Bloomburrow set with the tagline of Make Trash Do Smash. Now, this deck was one of the very first ones I've ever bought. I think it was exactly the first one, if not the second. And it was just one of those of I really love Bloomburrow because it was a fun set of woodland creatures, and that was at a point in time whenever I was very into stuff like raccoons. And well, what better commander to rock than the Raccoon Commander? Now, getting into the very specifics of the deck, Bello is a one colorless red and green or one in Gruul who is a 3/3 with the ability of during your turn, each non-equipment artifact and non-aura enchantment you control with mana value 4 or greater is a 4/4 elemental creature in addition to its other types and has indestructible haste, and whenever this creature deals damage, you draw a card. That being said, it's a very interesting deck that's kind of fun. It's primarily trying to put down these big cost enchantments with such things as one of my favorite as Gratuitous Violence, which is a 2 colorless and 3 red. If a creature you would control would deal combat damage to a permanent or player, it deals double that damage instead. And you top that with like Berserker's Onslaught of giving everything double strike. Well, you just are able to basically do 16 damage each combat without the other player being able to really do anything to stop it. And then you have like some interesting artifacts, like Esika's Chariot, which is a legendary vehicle. Then you have like the Rolling Hamsphere, which it gets +1/+1 counter for each hamster you control. And all of these you don't necessarily need to crew because during your turn they become creatures themselves. Now, this was a deck I rocked for a little bit and was also one of the very first ones I actually upgraded. The cards I took out were Big Score, Brightcap Badger, Burnished Heart, Galta, Primal Hunger, Gorthalma, All Devouring, Karplusan Forest, Tindershoot Drag, and Terramorphic Expanse. In their place, I added in Swiftfoot Boots because that's really essential with Bello of making it to where your opponents cannot target him. Because if they target him, you have to pay more for him, and you can't really do a lot of the things anymore. I did Solemn Simulacrum, or, as they're known, the Sad Robot, because it's a somewhat better version of Burnished Heart. And especially since he is a 4 cost, he then gets to have like the become a 4/4 indestructible and that kind of thing. Added in Thornspire Verge, Kona Rescue Beauty, because being able to add in those additional creatures or permanents, if you have him tapped in any way, if you wanted to like tap him for putting him as a crew for one of the things, then bada bing bada boom, you're able to instantly put down a new permanent, and oh boy, it pops off a lot. I also added in Fabled Passage instead of Terramorphic Expanse because, a little better. I added in one of the cards that stood out to me the most for Aether Drift of March of the World Ooze. We'll get back to that in a moment. Sylvan Scavenging and Kymel the Inner Sun. Now, the reason I found myself really drawn to the March of the World Ooze, to put it very simply, one, it is a 3 colorless and 3 green card enchantment with creatures you control have base power and toughness 6/6 and are oozes in addition to their other types. And whenever an opponent casts a spell, if it's not their turn, you create a 3/3 green elephant, which that can be important, might not be. The biggest thing that I found important with this card, it turns all of your high cost enchantments and artifacts into 6/6s instead of 4/4s. And that goes hard. I love it. This is one of my favorite decks to play. I haven't, played it as much as of late, but that's just I've been enjoying playing with like my Wolverine, my Optimus, and this new Tyranid deck that I've gotten. This is one of my favorite decks. I already said that, but that's how much I love it. It's a little raccoon who literally creates trash and throws it at their opponent's face, and if the opponent doesn't have decent responses, they're gonna get under the trash heap. And I just love that. To put it bluntly, I would happily recommend this to anyone that finds this deck to be kind of interesting. It is a great pre-con. I had a lot of fun with it before upgrading it, and since upgrading it, it's become even better. That being said, that's about all I can think of to really talk about with this deck. It is a lot of fun. It's another one of those of you want to make sure you have enough mana and that kind of thing so you don't get mana screwed, because you are going to be playing a lot of 4 or higher cost cards in the deck. Outside of that, if you want to stay up to date with this series of Commander Breakdown, be sure to like and subscribe. I will have the deck list for this on my Mox Field in the link down below. But outside of that, that's about it. Thank y'all for watching.